So previews, we don't need no stinking previews. Okay, maybe we do. That's what we like to talk about. So welcome to the Campus Comics Cast, the podcast for Muddy Monster Comics. I am joined on this episode by
Chad Schubert.
And of course, Muddy Monster Comics is located at 1422 Walnut Street in Murfreesboro, Illinois. And you can contact the store through the Facebook page, or you can call Mike Noe at 618-457-6011. The store is currently open Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And of course, since this is the previews episode, guess what? We're going to talk about previews. So the July 2021 issue of the previews catalog, in addition to the Marvel and DC supplements for that catalog. But before we get too deep into that, let's talk about the upcoming event at the shop, the first Muddy Monster Minicon. That's going to take place on July 24th, 2021. Muddy Monster Comics will be hosting Jason Font. Jason played the Red Ranger in Power Rangers Time Force and several other iterations from 2001 to 2015. So stop by, meet a Power Ranger, get something signed. I think Mike told me that there were some trades that are specific to the Time Force Red Ranger. He's going to have those available at the show for sale. So if you don't have something to get signed, then you can pick one of those up. And I'm sure that Jason Font will also have some, promotional headshots and stuff that you can buy directly from him and have those signed as well. In addition to Jason Font, there's going to be a couple others there that we've mentioned a few in the past. Justin Holman, Joe Dodd, Brian Morris, Nathan Bonner, who's going to be doing the Muddy Monster comic. You'll be able to see preview pages for that. Somebody else is Jason Nugent. Jason Nugent is an author, and I unfortunately cannot remember the title of any of his books right off the top of my head.
The Selection is the name of the first of the Forgotten series is his trilogy. I know for sure because I own that.
Okay.
I was trying to think of what else.
Yeah, I just posted some information about that, and then there's was it Sword of the Moon King?
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, so Jason Nugent, he's listed as a USA Today best-selling author, so he'll be there signing autographs, and you can check out his website at jasonjnugent.com. So just one more person that's going to be there for the Muddy Monster Minicon. I think we're going to have about 18 tables of stuff, so it's going to be pretty quite a bit of selection, in addition to the shop being open that day and everything's going to be going on at the shop.
Yeah.
So, all right, DC, you want to talk about the DC catalog?
Talk about a little Batman.
Yeah. So, hey, and this month, for the first time in, I don't know, maybe a year, we actually have a physical DC Connect catalog.
Yes.
So I do know that Mike has several in at the shop. So if you actually want to get your hands on a physical catalog, you can do that. And it's actually short. It's only like 40 pages. So like the Marvel catalog, like 3.5 times the size of the DC catalog. Yeah. So which I don't know. I guess you could say some things about that, I guess, if you wanted to. But all right. So, and then now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we talk about Fear State and I Am Batman last month?
I felt like that was already, and I thought we were seeing the duplicates here.
Yeah, I thought so too. So, but anyway, so page 1, you've got Fear State, which is a pretty good sized crossover of all the Bat titles.
Mm-hmm.
Now I looked at this and I read Peacemaker instead of Peacekeeper.
A little crossover there.
Yeah, so my eyes were playing tricks on me. I was like, that doesn't look like a Peacemaker. So I thought, man, there's a lot of Peacemaker this month, but it's actually Peacekeeper.
Yes.
So, and then both in Fear State, and then on the next page, the I Am Batman by John Ridley. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Anti-Oracle getting a lot of love here from DC this month. So featuring prominently in these two titles. So,
and I'm guessing Have we seen the Anti-Oracle before?
It's because we talked about it on a previous episode.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember because it was like a new character, and I want to say it was in Nightwing, maybe. So it's like,
Okay.
yeah, I need to
Maybe it's
probably
where
as soon
it
as this
spun out. That's
podcast.
right.
Yeah,
You're right. Yep. I
I
do
feel like
remember that now.
yeah, I'm hoping I ordered some copies of that book. I need to go back and check and see if I ordered any. If not, I probably should jump on eBay and grab a few just in case.
Right.
So if I'm playing the whole investment thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You got anything that you want to add on to these two titles?
Well, I actually immediately was like, oh, there must be something in Infinite Frontier Zero that's feeding in, because they keep saying like out of Infinite Frontier on there. And so I've been trying to get through reading Infinite Frontier Zero, but I haven't quite yet. It's at the top of the stack though.
Okay. I guess I should do that too.
Because I really want to know, is this a crossover I want to get into? I like the idea of the when they do introduce the horror elements, and I'm assuming that with the name Fear State there is going to be some sort of horror there. But
with Scarecrow being one,
with Scarecrow being kind of the main, yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for it. I like they have this a few pages in the Batman Secret Files for Miracle Molly. She seems like an interesting character. And so I like the crew that they're playing with this big event. So it would be definitely interesting to see more. I'm interested to continue on with the Fear State, I think.
Yeah, and it's crossing over into a lot of titles. So you've got 2 issues of Batman,
Mm-hmm.
the Wally one shot you mentioned, Catwoman, Nightwing, 2 issues of Detective, and then they mention Harley Quinn.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like Harley Quinn got tired of Gotham, goes out of town. It's like they're just trying to push some issues of Harley
They're really
Quinn
trying to keep her in there, but
yeah. So that's a little bit of a stretch. So that might be one you could skip if you are feeling like a little bit too much pain on your pocketbook for Fear State. No?
I don't think it's going to be crucial to the storyline there.
Not even remotely. But it does have the Fear State banner running across the top. So page 12 is my next thing. You want to talk about page 11? All right.
Page 11. I don't think they've had Batman Begin or the Batman Beyond on the Urban Legends stories yet. I've been kind of keeping up with that, and so this is one I definitely, if you are into the Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis character, he features in one of the, I think, 4 stories that are in this issue. So I definitely want to pick this one up because I like the Batman Beyond.
Page 12, we got Batman versus Bigby, a wolf in Gotham. So hey, we're getting Fables back into DC. So we got the first crossover. I haven't read much of Fables. I've read a little bit of it. I guess I mainly know this character from the Telltale game Wolf Among Us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I did play that game just because of the comic book tie-in. So but he's kind of like a detective type, I guess in the Fables universe. So I guess they're teaming up to solve something. Obviously, not going to be part of the regular DC continuity. But for Fables fan, if you're a completist, it's something you'll definitely want to grab whenever this comes out on September 21st.
Yeah, seems like they're. I hope it's not, but it seems like from the description it'll be following the standard crossover with Batman trope, where you've got 2 different crime fighters, vigilantes, and there's going to be a misunderstanding, and then they're going to figure out that they're both trying to solve the same problem, and then they'll figure it out together.
Yeah. Now it is written by Bill Willingham.
Yeah, Bill Willingham. Yeah, absolutely.
So
who wrote Fables?
Exactly. So hopefully he will take great care, for sure, of his character, and you would think he could do a decent job with Batman. So
right.
It doesn't. Is this a one shot or is it? Oh, of 6. Okay,
of 6. Yep.
6 issue story. Okay. Page 14 and 15. So Batman Day is going to be September 18th. So it looks like we're getting 3 comics for Batman Day. I have not spoken to Mike Noe specifically about these books, but I am assuming that he will probably have, if not all 3, at least 1 or 2 of them available. And they come priced at 25 cents. So most of the time, he won't charge you a quarter, especially if you buy something else in the store. So you can pick up 1 or more of these. So you got Batman the World Special Edition, Batman Nightwatch Bat Tech Special Edition, and then the one that everybody's dying for, Batman Fortnite 0 Point Special Edition. So,
which I'm assuming is going to be issue 1, just a reprint.
Yeah, that's what I would guess too, or maybe not even a whole issue of that. Let's see if it says how many.
32
pages. Yeah. So it probably is the whole first issue of that book, which is already out. But here we got a 25-cent version as opposed to a $3.99 or $4.99 version of that book. So.
And I guess if you really wanted to, you could order a bundle of them of your own, right?
That's right. Yeah. So I'm sure Mike would do that. To see a pack of 25 is $6.25. So bargain.
You give out comic books for trick or treaters, right? So this is a good trick or treater option right here.
Yep. This is almost certainly I will pick up a bunch of these exactly for that purpose because we're getting close to I need to do an order for Halloween, and since this is September, I mean October's the next, so there really wasn't anything else, for Halloween Fest, I guess, and they may not be doing Halloween Fest, but I can probably get some of the free Comic Book Day books as well. So.
Yeah, because I guess maybe not with free Comic Book Day being in August, they may not back to back those events.
Too close, maybe too close together for them to want to do that. So. All right, page 16. You got Deathstroke Inc. #1 by Joshua Williamson. So I guess it really feels like Deathstroke's following in Batman's footsteps. So we went from Batman Inc. to Deathstroke Inc. Right, and teaming up with all people, the Black Canary. Mm-hmm. So I know that I think Atchison's a big Howard Porter fan, artwork wise.
Yeah.
So this is probably something that he would be picking up.
Definitely, that style, that cover looks really good. I like the way that's drawn. So
yeah, he looks a little different than what I'm used to seeing him from the most recent Deathstroke series. So,
yeah.
My next thing's on 20.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so page 20, we got Black Manta #1. My question is, why is it taking DC so long after Aquaman to come up with a Black Manta series? I mean, that was like the one that was like the best part of the whole movie, was Black Manta, at least in my opinion. So we've got it's a 6-issue series. I had it as a 4-issue series of Black Manta, and hey, they're going to introduce both a new hero and a new villain in Black Manta #1. So and I think they're supposed to start working on the next Aquaman movie pretty soon. So you have to assume that he's still hanging around for the next movie. So
yes. On 21, we've got the Harley Quinn animated series one shot that they're doing called the Eat Bang Kill Tour. So if you're into the Harley Quinn animated series, the adult show on HBO Max, there's going to be a comic book connected to it, I guess.
And maybe they can get that scene in this that they wanted to put in the animated that DC wouldn't let them.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
I think that guy doesn't want to keep doing that show because so you have the successful or apparently successful show, right, and then you complain about the people who make the decisions about what you can and can't do. It sounds like you're trying to get out of that job. So yes. I'm on 23, unless you want to talk about 22.
No, 23 is where I was at.
All right. So, Are You Afraid of Darkseid #1? So, it's the cover alone is very, very interesting. So you have these very stylized version of the Teen Titans, with Robin with the flashlight around a campfire, making the flashlight face, apparently telling everybody ghost stories with Darkseid just hanging around right behind him. So this is a one shot. It just the cover is all I needed to see to be interested in this. So.
Yeah, I definitely want that. Dan Hipp did that cover. I'd never heard that name before, but I like that style. I'm gonna have to check out and see what he's done because it seems like he seems like an indie artist that's probably done some decent little books that you can find on Comixology or something.
And this is an 80-page one shot, so we're gonna get. We got several creators working on this. Oh, and Jeremy Hahn. I try to pick up his stuff periodically because he was a guest at my show one year. So pretty talented guy.
And there's at least 8 different writers and 6 or 7 different artists. So I'm assuming there's going to be a bunch of probably 8-10 page stories in that 80-page story. So yeah,
because they list 8 writers and more, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only list 5 artists and more. So
yeah.
Oh, Mike Norton is one of the artists. He's from up near the Chicago area.
Oh, okay.
Like I've said this before, we had this book called Battle Pugs, and he has these fantasy towns that are mentioned that they talked about in this book, and like one of them is Patoka, which is between here and like Centralia, if you go up on 7. So it's like, yeah, he just used the names of all these towns that he sees as he's driving south to conventions and stuff like that. So. 24, Titans United #1. Someone is using the Titans' powers against them. It sounds like a Mazo to me, so I'm going to guess that we're going to see a Mazo in this issue, or whatever the Teen Titans version of a Mazo is, but who knows? Maybe something else. I don't have anything else to add on that. Let's see. My next thing's not till page 30.
I don't have. Well, I just to mention, I feel like they've already solicited, but I'm not sure. The Far Sector collection, the full collection of all 12 issues on page 27 is going to be out in October. That's a book that I didn't get to read while it was ongoing, so this might be a good pickup for anybody who was late to the game on Far Sector.
Now on page 30, DC did something different. They did this both the digital and the print version, is that they are putting like 6 titles on a page, which to me, if I'm going through a catalog like this and trying to decide what book I'm going to buy, I'm not going to pay a whole lot of attention to. If they're not serious enough about it to give it a whole page like they do everything else, it's kind of like, are you serious about these books? Do you want me to go buy these books?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just like, it just seems weird to me that they're, trying to save on space, trying to get the page count way down, which they obviously did.
Yeah. How much are they saving on paper for that? Because I almost missed Batman 89 #2. Like for my order, I was like, oh, where's that at? And then I had to thumb back through.
So we got like 6, books. So on page 30, no, it's not page 30, 31. What page is it on? Oh, it is on page 30. It's the lower right one, the Batman Superman #22. That is the final issue of that series. So that series is wrapping up at issue number 22. I mentioned that because sometimes those last issues are harder to find if you miss them. Page 31, Blue and Gold, introducing Buggles. I'm assuming that Buggles is this Jeep on the cover.
I hope so.
You know what? Or it could be, because we got 2 little orbs flying, and one of them is Booster Gold's, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of his metal artificial intelligence sidekick. Why can I not come up with that name?
I'm not sure what it is.
Skeets. I think it's Skeets. Yeah, Skeets. So I wonder if Buggle is going to be Blue Beetle Skeets. So it could be the other thing that's flying around in the air there. So, but anyway, we're getting that in this issue of Blue and Gold. 34 is my next thing.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
I don't have much more going on there.
All right. So page 34, we have the final issues of the final issue of Rorschach. And you can almost certainly expect us to do a read through of Rorschach sometime between, in the next few months. And then on page 35, we also have the final issue of Strange Adventures 12. I've only read through issue 8 of this, and in issue 7 or issue 6, I can't remember which one it was, 6 or 7. It took a turn that I didn't care for. So I've been hesitant to pick it back up. So I'm going to wait until I have all the issues in my hand to finish reading it. I have not even started Rorschach yet, so I'm just going to read that.
I haven't either.
I'm just going to read that all at once.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that's everything I have in the DC catalog. What else you got?
One last thing I've got on 36, The Flash 774 is introducing Dr. Nightmare. It's I guess a new character there. Nightmares are cool.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that. So yeah. So okay.
There's that. It's a not as exciting catalog as it has been.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if it's just because it's like hard to get excited about these really small print books or whatever. But it also, I mean, there's not a lot of trades in this one or anything like
No.
that. So, and some of the stuff we'd already talked about. Like I know we talked about Fear State and we talked about I Am
Yeah, I Am
Batman
Batman,
last
yeah.
time. So, last page of the catalog though, you do have the ad for Suicide Squad. So that's going to be out in theaters August 6th. So I probably knew that, but now it's a reminder I need to go, get my ticket. So
that's right. And HBO Max if you have that.
And HBO Max. So yeah, I got to decide if I want to see it in the theater or watch it on HBO Max. So I'm leaning towards the theater. I usually go see those things in the theater, but
agreed, absolutely.
But I'm paying for HBO Max. Maybe I should just take advantage of that. So I don't know, anything else in DC? You good?
I think that closes it up.
All right. So the Marvel catalog that once again is 3.5 times the size of the DC catalog. So significantly larger. But I don't have a whole lot more content in it.
No, I agree. Yeah. Bigger isn't always better, I guess, in this situation.
So page 1, we've got Dark Ages. So this is a 6-issue series written by Tom Taylor, who is a favorite of a lot of people. Basically, what has the Watcher been watching? And it looks like we're going to basically the sun burning out, which I believe was the storyline behind a DC series called like Final Night or something many years ago. So it kind of, now hopefully Tom Taylor can do something interesting with it. We do have several pages of preview art.
This looks like the kind of Marvel series that I would read. It's it's 6 issues of this kind of dark event that has a bunch of different characters in it, because sometimes they get bored with the Marvel characters, some of them. So this is and I like the Watchers. There's something interesting to me about the Watchers. And DC doesn't have a version of, like, the Watchers is a Marvel thing, and so to have I think the last big what was the event? I can't even remember what it was. There was an event with the Watchers.
Original Sin.
Original Sin that it wasn't that great, but I just loved it because it was just this kind of cool tie-in with them, and they were kind of the main focus. Somebody had killed a Watcher, and so immediately I saw, ooh, this is an event that's circled around the Watchers. I'm in again. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Now the question here is this the Watcher that came out of that Original Sin event, or is this the Watchers who are the big-headed guys that we're thinking of? So
that's true. Yeah.
So which Watcher or Watchers is actually this story referring to? And I guess we'll have to read issue 1 to find out.
That's right. I think so.
Page 6. We got Inferno #1, 4-issue series written by Jonathan Hickman. So Hickman has been off of the X-Men proper title now for a couple of months. So I guess then they advertised this as the culmination of Jonathan Hickman's X-Men begins here. So Inferno, of course, is a title borrowed from an X-Men run from a crossover event from many years ago. I want to say late 80s, early 90s. So I guess I haven't I didn't really get into X-Men because I was excited after Powers of X and
House of
Powers of 10 House of X.
Yeah.
I thought I was pausing. I couldn't remember which one was 10.
Which way they went? Yeah.
X. Thought, they're going to streamline the X-Men universe, and as soon as that was over, the next month, 8 titles.
So complicated. Yeah.
Come on.
Which this looks like maybe this will be the closing of his influence, I guess. Will be Inferno, will be kind of his final chapter, or I don't know if culmination for them is indicating finale, or if culmination is just
his story, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I know they just relaunched the X-Men, the main title this past here in July,
with a new writer. So this is, I guess, and that you have to assume that writer can't really do too much until this gets resolved.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course it sounds like a lot of things are going to happen if you read through this catalog. A lot of things are going to happen with Krakoa, so which is where the X-Men have been hanging out now for a little while. So.
Yeah. Now was that Hickman's creation? Was Krakoa his, or that was prior to him?
That was around, and if I remember correctly, that goes back to Giant Size X-Men #1.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, which is, and maybe even predates that. But if I'm remembering correctly, that's where the new team of X-Men has to go rescue the original team of X-Men, and it's been a long time since I've read that book, so I could be totally wrong. But Krakoa's been around for a long time, so
Yeah.
Page 8, we've got Amazing Spider-Man #74. So this is going to wrap up Nick Spencer's run on the title. So they're giving him a 96-page book to wrap up the storylines that he has started through, I guess, his 3-year run.
Mm-hmm. And
So
I guess since they're calling it finale, the next Amazing Spider-Man will be another #1 going forward after that.
Probably
with the historical counting still in play.
Yeah, the legacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess, they could keep it going at 75. But it seems like anymore, whenever you get a new writer, especially if they think the writer's going to stick around for a while, then
They'll give them that one.
Or even if they're not going to stick around for a while, they give them a new #1. So
yeah,
it's so hard to sort Marvel comics anymore. So
yes, I bet. Can't even sort them by year half the time because you get two
#1s the same year. Page 11 is my next thing.
On page 10, we've got a new Miss Marvel Beyond the Limit miniseries that's coming out. Miss Marvel is getting a lot of love. They've got the new series that they're working on for Disney Plus, and then obviously she was a big part of the Avengers video game that came out. So this is, now that I feel like since she's been more in the media, I'm more familiar with Miss Marvel, and so it's like, oh, I know who that is. I know a little bit about her and how she rolls, so this would be an interesting book to pick up and maybe find out on the book, because I've never read a comic of Miss Marvel. So
I've read a handful of Ms. Marvel books. So but it's been a while. It's like I was reading some of her earlier appearances. Yeah. He was kind of like, she was always like the fan. It's like, oh, yes, I get to meet Spider-Man. Ooh, right. I get to meet, Captain Marvel. It's page 11, Darkhold Alpha. I am assuming that this is going to lead into a crossover at some point in the future. This is the only time that I've seen in the catalog that they mention the Darkhold, which is unusual for Marvel. Which either means this is just a one-shot, or they've got something big planned for this, and they're not wanting to put in too many spoilers ahead of time. But if you aren't familiar with the Darkhold, it's kind of like the book that has all the information about all the occult and magical stuff in the Marvel universe. It featured it was kind of prominent in the WandaVision series there at the end. Whenever they got the book, that was the Darkhold.
I see. Okay.
So they could be setting something big up for something ongoing, because usually when there's an alpha, there's a bunch of other books, and then there's Omega.
Yeah.
So we don't have any of the other books of the Omega in this one. So
if it's supposed to be occult and whatnot, maybe we'll see it in the October. The books that are coming out in October, maybe there'll be a whole Halloween thing there.
Yeah, that would make sense. So do something at an appropriate time of the year.
Absolutely.
16 is my next thing.
I got on 12 just another one of the Demon Days books. I really am digging. I dug the first issue of Demon Days, and so the artwork's just really cool, and I really like Peach Momoko's style there, and she brings kind of a unique storytelling as well in her writing. So this is the third of, I think, a 5-issue series that they're doing. But they're all #1s, I guess. So
yeah, they're all one shots, I guess. So,
yeah.
And Peach Momoko has a lot of variant covers in this catalog. So
I think in every catalog it seems like anymore she's working.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's almost like I wonder if she's more than one person. Page 16, you have The Death of Doctor Strange, a 5-issue series. Yeah, because that's gonna stick. I read the solicit for this, and it's more like, well, what would happen if Doctor Strange did die? Who would become the next Sorcerer Supreme?
Kind of a what if, almost, more than anything else. Yeah.
So it feels more like a what if, because, of course, I don't know. Marvel's done some stupid stuff before, but we know that the second Doctor Strange movie is in the works. So you don't want to have that character not have a book out whenever the movie hits the theaters. And people, of course, people go to the store or the shop and say, hey, I need a Doctor Strange book. Well, he doesn't have a monthly title right
He's
now.
dead right now.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, because like whenever, it's like whenever the Iron Man came out, it's like, oh, yeah, Iron Man's, Tony Stark's dead. Then Thor. Oh, that's a female Thor, not the regular Thor.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be a little bit more in line with their movie division
Movies,
for as
yeah.
big as they are.
Oh, you want to read Captain America? Well, he's a bad guy now. Hydra Cap. Yeah, not good on the timing side there,
Yes.
Marvel. 24 is my next thing. I don't really want to talk about Carnage. So
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So on page 24, Kazar, Lord of the Savage Land, 5-issue series. I don't know who's out there demanding a new Kazar title, but we got a 5-issue series featuring Kazar. He's going to have a new power set, and he's apparently back from the dead. I didn't know he died.
So is Kazar Marvel's Tarzan type, or
Oh yeah,
Conan, or
yeah. So he started in the X-Men.
okay?
I think it was issue 10, and I guess he's technically a Golden Age character
Mm.
that they brought back in. So, but in the Marvel universe, I think his first appearance was X-Men 10, and that's with the Savage Land, which is that land in Antarctica that still has dinosaurs and stuff in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of his domain. He was kind of over that. So.
Gotcha.
So he was basically the Tarzan for that land. So, and then I don't have anything until page 63.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm all the way to 68. So.
Oh wow, okay. So I was gonna flip through slow while you were going through some stuff, but all right. So and 63, I'm just gonna mention Daredevil, issue 34. Not anything special about this, but I am close to being caught up on Daredevil, the Chip Zdarsky run, and it's actually really really good. Daredevil's been in jail now for several issues, and he's wearing his mask in prison. So, it's been kind of interesting. Elektra has taken over the mantle of Daredevil while Matt Murdock is in jail. So it's been good. So, yeah, if you like Daredevil at all, it's a good run to read. So, and Daredevil's been one of Marvel's best books for a long time now. Mm-hmm. So. 60. What'd you say you're at?
And 68 is Star Wars: The High Republic. Number 9 is a new storyline, a new story arc there. I've really been surprised with The High Republic, the main title. The one that IDW is doing, the Star Wars Adventures of the High Republic, is it's more geared towards kids, but the storyline just isn't as thick. There's not a lot going on there. But this one's been really good. The characters have been really easy to get into for starting a whole new world, and really not relying on anybody that you're familiar with, not even bloodlines that you're familiar with, because that's an easy Star Wars trope, is be like, you don't know this person, but their grandpa is Skywalker. Mm-hmm. So this has been good. So if you've been curious about it, this is a good hopping on point with issue 9 there.
Are you reading any of the prose novels as well, or just the comic?
I started to listen to one of them, do an audiobook of it, and it's Star Wars novels are not as good as Star Wars comics.
Yeah, the last good Star Wars book that I read was like the Timothy's on Heir to the Empire stuff.
Oh, so yeah.
That's been a long time ago.
Absolutely.
Back one page on 66, You've got Conan the Barbarian issue 25, which is the 300th issue of Conan the Barbarian from Marvel.
Oh.
So that's issue number 300. And I just noticed that there's a Kevin Eastman variant cover.
Yes,
so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles artist. And it's not very good. But if you're a big Kevin Eastman fan, you want to see him draw something besides the turtle, then there is a variant cover of that.
Yeah, I wonder why it isn't very good. But his last Ronin covers have been really good for Turtles, so maybe he's phoning in a little bit for
maybe they're just hoping to sell. Yeah, I'll sell some based on the name. And oh my goodness, they got an amazing Fantasy 15 homage cover of Conan. Okay, that's crazy. All right. 113 is my next thing.
Go ahead.
Oh wow. Okay. Again, let me skip through really, really fast. Bunch of trades, bunch of trades, bunch of trades. I did want to mention the Hawkeye trade. This is a new edition of the Matt Fraction, David Aja Hawkeye series. I don't know. It's issues
Oh,
1 through 22 in annual one, which may be the entire
so I was trying to think. It
the
might
entire
be.
story. They got two covers for the trade. They got the Alex Ross Timeless cover, and then they have the David Aja cover, which is direct market only. So you won't be able to get that at like Barnes and Noble or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You'll have to get that through a local comic shop. So you can get that through Muddy Monster Comics. And I like the David Aja cover quite a bit because it's the version of Hawkeye that is actually in the
In the
stories.
book, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh,
But this is really
back on 107. They are doing a collection of Marvel Voices Heritage, which is the Marvel Voices Indigenous and
mhm.
Identity, as well as A Werewolf by Night #1, Silk #1, and Amazing Fantasy 15 from '04. I thought it was interesting that they decided to collect just those two from the Marvel Voices, because I believe there's four different ones out at this point in time. I
Mhm.
can't name them all off, but if you haven't been able to pick up those individual kind of anthology collections that they're doing for that Marvel Voices, this is a good way to at least get two of them.
Yep. I wonder what the Werewolf by Nights are in there for. I understand why Silk is in there. So as Identity, the what is it? Asian Pacific
Pacific,
Islander.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then the Indigenous is the Indigenous Americans.
yes, absolutely,
All right. Yeah. I
yeah.
just
So
wonder why
there's
Werewolf by Night is in there.
yeah, and so I know there's a Legacy, which is there's a Legacy book that is I think celebrating African American creators, and then there's a Pride one as well that came out this past month. So maybe those will come out in a separate collection.
Probably Volume 2.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's all I have Marvel.
that's all I've got as well.
Okay. Let me flip through. Just make sure
Like
there's
you
nothing.
said, for as many pages as there are, there's not much more content.
No, no. So, but it's easier to read because it's
That's right.
not 6 per page. All right, the big book.
Big one.
All right, so on page 26, of course, especially this month, it seems like we're not talking about a whole lot of stuff that's in the catalog. So we're probably talking about 5% of the stuff that's in the catalog. So if you want to get a feel for all the other stuff, have Mike order you a copy of the catalog, or you can just go into the shop and just flip through his. We didn't mention this, but orders are due July 18th. So ideally, you'll have your order into Mike Noe by July 18th. You got probably a few extra days there, just in case. Page 31 and 32 are starting on page 31 and 32. You've got the ad for Free Comic Book Day, which this year is August 14th. It looks like they finally have all of the books listed now.
Yeah, I didn't see any question marks or to be announced or anything.
The only one I noticed was on the Avengers Hulk book from Marvel. It said writer artist to be revealed. but yeah, other than that, it looks like they're all kind of filled in.
Mhm.
Any of these Free Comic Book Day books jumping out at you?
Um, there's nothing that's new material that's really jumping out. There's some that I'm like, oh, I haven't gotten a chance to read that, like the Stray Dogs from Image. I've been noticing that one more and more, and the fact that that's a free comic book day is like, oh, well, that's a good reason for me to hop on and grab that and see if I want to pick up the trade, which is later on in the book this month.
Yeah, anybody who's a fan of Blade Runner, there's a Blade Runner one shot that does have original material in it. So if you want to grab that one. All right. Well, let's see. Image.
Image.
Image. Let's see. Let you talk about 42.
All right, so in 42 we've got the new Jeff Lemire book from Image with Andrea Sorrentino. There we go. Whew,
Sounds
words are
good to me.
hard. This is a new book. I love this concept, is that essentially, this is a space race story. But when Russia had sent a dog up, right? If I remember this right, yeah, USSR launched the dog into space, and then later, 2 years later, we launched a couple of monkeys into space during the whole Cold War space race era. And the question being, what if they didn't die up in space? What happened to them? What was next? And these kind of when they take a mystery that nobody's really thought of or given 2 cents to in actual history and create an actual story around that. I love that kind of concept. So this seems like it'll be a good one, and I like that they liken this to 2001: Space Odyssey meets We Three by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, because I like both of those.
I have not read We Three. Should I read that?
Yeah, it's good. It's I think it's just a 3-issue mini. Like it's a quick in and out, and it's worth the time.
And this is almost certainly a book that if Vertigo were still a thing, it probably would have been at Vertigo. You know?
Absolutely.
But since Vertigo's not around anymore, Jeff Lemire probably wisely took advantage. So. 52. Oh, you got anything before 52?
I don't.
Okay. Page 52. Now, I believe
you called it.
I have been saying for a little while that the series die by Image, because it's the die on the cover is a 20-sided die that it's going to end at issue 20. Well, guess what's solicited this month? Issue 20. And guess what it says? Series finale. So, hey, there's actually recorded evidence of me predicting that this was a 20-issue series. So, I have not read, I think, I can't remember 18's out yet, but 16 and 17 are out. Maybe 18. 18's probably out. I haven't read them yet. I'm going to read the last 5 all together.
There you go.
But that series is coming to a conclusion. So we'll see what happens there. But it's nice to be right every once in a while.
Absolutely.
What is it? A blind squirrel every once in a while finds a nut.
Gets a nut. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. My next thing's not till 84.
All right. Well, just a mention on 53. Looks like even though Echo Lands #1 hasn't come out yet, they're already trying to vie for your extra dollar by releasing a raw cut edition of Echo Lands, the new J.H. Williams III book. So this is going to give you his, I think, is it his pencils? And you'll also get a translucent version of the lettering so that it doesn't interfere with being able to see his artwork uncolored. And I guess it looks inked to me. But they just say his raw images. Yeah, and I thought this was kind of very bold of them, considering the first issue's not out. But I guess the pre-orders have probably gone in for it, so they know how well people are taking to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I remember Echolands, but I didn't realize that this was. I guess that they're going to have to do a twice the page count, because they're going to have a translucent page over every single page, because it's 44 pages.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. Well,
I was assuming that it was just kind of like the lettering was just lighter on the page, but you're thinking that you can actually.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're probably right.
That would be awesome, though.
Intact in a translucent form. It doesn't say it's a separate page.
I like your idea better, though. That would be worth it.
But it'd be a lot more expensive.
Yes, absolutely.
So since the cover price had been $10, I would have bet that's what they did, with it being $4.99, which was probably the cover price of the first issue. It's the case. So.
And then on 62, as previously mentioned, the Stray Dogs trade paperback is out, collecting the first 5 issues. The covers alone for this series, I haven't like I said, I haven't read any of it, but it's a Disney-esque animals horror story. But I really hope that there's a collection, like a cover gallery in here, because they've done just about every horror movie you can think of from the last 30, 40 years, a version of that in one of their variant covers. Yeah. And I've got a couple of them I'm eyeballing on eBay, even because I'm like, I really want that one.
Well, this book is hot now. And
Is
and
it?
this is one that, I think it was Dan and I did the episode with the first issue of this came out, and
Hmm.
I don't think either one of us picked this as the book to get, and well, we
No.
were wrong. So yeah,
Yeah, I
that
didn't.
first issue has jumped up in value big
Wow.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for it at all, and I still don't even reading the synopsis. I'm not like, I'm not in love with it,
Yeah.
but I just want those covers.
84.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so page 84, you have the six sidekicks of Trigger Keaton, written by Kyle Starks. And I mentioned this because Kyle Starks is going to be the featured guest at Berg Comics Con 2021,
That's right.
which is going to take place in Harrisburg, Illinois on September 4th. So I just wanted to drop a name right there.
Absolutely.
So, name drop. I'm on to Dark Horse, so if you got anything else from Image.
I am too. Yep.
All right. Well, I know you already mentioned the first thing in Dark Horse. So I'll let you go with that.
Yeah. So another Jeff Lemire book, and this time Jeff is actually doing the writing and he's the artist on this book, which is if you're really into a book like the hot Netflix show Sweet Tooth, that is a Jeff Lemire written and drawn book. So this would be kind of in that same vein, at least style wise. But this looks like it's something in regards to the maze of the mind, and they're kind of going into that. Jeff does a really good job writing about family, and really it seems like last few books he's done that I've read are really family and mourning focused, and this one right in the first paragraph is a haunting comic series about family, mourning, and reality. So he's stuck on it, but he does it really well. And I'm really excited about this book. 5-issue miniseries. So not a lot to ask on that either.
He's a busy guy this month.
Yes.
Yeah, his name is in this catalog quite a bit. So, did you finish Sweet Tooth on Netflix?
No, I haven't. I got halfway through, and I'm right at that halfway marker still.
Okay, all right. I did finish it, so
Did you?
pretty good. So yeah.
Good.
Now I don't have anything until the small publishers.
Okay. I did a little detour into the Stranger Things territory. On page 96, there's a new 4-issue miniseries for Stranger Things called The Tomb of Yubin, Ybwen. I do not know how to pronounce that word. But it's
as good as mine.
It looks like it's kicking off. They do these little 4 issues. I like that they don't string it along and they just give you, hey, here's 4 issues of this story. We're not gonna pull it too much more than that, and that at least I appreciate. But it looks like this story has a little bit of a Goonies vibe to it, at least by the covers, and a little bit of the synopsis. That they find a map that Bob, which is the one of the main kids, I guess, kind of stepdad, and who is played by Sean Astin, who was in the Goonies. He's even on looks like variant cover B. You have a picture of him, and then they have a nod to Goonies on a couple of these covers as well.
So this must be between seasons.
Yes, I believe so. And then right after that, looks like if you're really into the Stranger Things, the Stranger of Things, there is a Stranger Things Erica the Great trade paperback that they're putting out as well, which is Erica's one of the other boys' little sister in there. So a lot of Stranger Things for you if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't have anything until 306.
Okay.
So I'm kind of flipping through, but so whatever you got before 306, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. On 128, we have Star Wars Ghosts of Vader's Castle #1. This is the 3rd year in a row that they've done a Vader's Castle type miniseries for the Halloween season, which they've been fairly good. I've read all of the first one and part of the second series that they did, and they're just little. It's kind of in the same vein as their other adventure stories where they have 2 or 3 different ongoing stories kind of per issue, and I like the what they deem horror in the Star Wars adventures, which is very light on the horror side of things, is always pretty good. 134, we have the collection for Chained to the Grave from IDW, and it's certified cool, so it must be good. But this is the collection of, I guess, everything. I'm assuming the series is over because it doesn't say volume 1 or collection of any certain issues. This was another one that the covers kind of caught my eye as they started coming out, and I was like, oh, I'll read it in trade. So now here it is in trade. I'll have to pick that one up. 145.
142.
Oh yeah.
The second issue of that Star Wars Adventures Ghost of Vader's Castle is also solicited.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and it's got Jackson the Bunny.
Yes, it does.
A much maligned character, which I guess this is going to make him official if he wasn't already in the modern canon for Star Wars.
He showed up in an annual last year.
Okay.
That was, I think that was his first appearance, and I guess they liked him enough to bring him back again.
I guess they need somebody they can poke fun at. So
that's right.
Belief.
Absolutely. On 145, they've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IDW collection, Volume 1. Pretty good chunk of a book, 424 pages of the first 12 issues. Plus, you get the Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, and Splinter one-shots that they did, which were I dig this story. I haven't got to spend as much time. I think I read the first trade when IDW picked it up. But it was really good. I enjoyed what they did with it, and so this would be a good collection. I imagine it'll look pretty good on a shelf. I got 202.
Keep going. I'm in the 300s. Yeah, cool. I'm in the 300s. So.
Okay. 202. We've got a new book from Boom Studios called Maw. And this is Jude Ellison, S. Doyle writing, and A.L. Kaplan illustrating. And more than anything, the cover just looks a little weird. It's a horror series. They're saying perfect for readers for Something Is Killing the Children, which I liked enough. At least the first trade of that was fairly good. There's something about horror and flowers that is interesting to me. And I like the bright, the unsettlingness of a bright and sunshiny flower, and something scary and creepy with it. So the cover alone it just pulled me in a little bit on that one. 221, we've got the Jim Henson Storytellers new collection of the Tricksters 4 issues that they did. This one has been really good. Some of these I always pick up the Tricksters as they're ongoing, or the Tricksters, the Storytellers as they come out, and some of them kind of wane. They're all kind of one shots, but within a themed collection. So these are 4 different creator creator teams that do an issue, and then this is the collected version. But Tricksters was pretty good, at least the first 3, because the 4th one isn't out as of yet. 230 from Ablaze Comics is the He Who Fights with Monsters #1, and it's got a glow in the dark cover, so I don't know what else you could need.
You can put that alongside your Ghost Rider 15 glow in the dark cover.
That's right. I know. I'm gonna start collecting them all. No, this is a kind of set in the World War II era, horror story, kind of based around Halloween, with the obviously all of the Nazi side of things still in full effect. And I thought the cover looked cool, and the glow in the dark was just what brought me into this, Scott. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it put you over the top. You're in.
246, and then I think it might be your turn.
Okay.
On 246, Aftershock has a book called 10 Years to Death, which is a one-shot that is promising a Shawshank Redemption meets Sixth Sense type storyline, and it is set in a prison, has a mass murderer who is finally getting incarcerated for his crimes, and the death that binds them together between the prison guard and the murderer is just a cool story that they've got going on there. This is a limited to 1,000 copies, so I don't know if that makes it a hot item just by default because it only has 1,000 copies. But or let's see. Oh, there's only 1,000 signed copies. That's a little misleading. My bad.
Also offered is 1,000 signed copies.
Yes. So then they've got regular ones after that.
I'm trying to remember who Chief is on Battlestar Galactica, because that's who Aaron Douglas is.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Chief. Who was Chief?
He was in one episode.
I'll have to look that up. I wonder if he was the guy who was on the guy who did all the repair work. I'll have to get out my Battlestar Galactica board game and see if he has a card.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how many episodes he potentially had in there. If he was.
Now I want to know.
He's a younger guy.
Battlestar Galactica.
And he's been in a lot of things.
Oh yeah, he was in most of them. Yeah, Chief.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. That's the guy I was looking at. He's the guy who did all the repair work on the deck. So yeah. So okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
So now he's writing comics.
I think he initially had a thing for Boomer. So until found out that she was a Cylon. Spoiler.
Then I don't have anything till 3:30. I don't remember what you had said.
306. So page 306, we've got Noir is the New Black. It's a trade paperback. It features. I'll just kind of read it. This is Noir is the New Black. 40 Black creators delivering 16 noir stories in a unique way for the first time, and it's 100% creator-owned Black Noir comic stories. So 148 pages, $25 from Fair Square Comics, and it is a featured item in the previews catalog.
Yeah. I saw that none of the names stood out to me. I wasn't familiar with. I did not recognize
any of the names either. But sometimes I say that, and then whenever there's probably is some
like
stuff
that person
that if I were to, that gets you.
Absolutely, you never know who's going to be a breakout talent out of that.
And But if you like, crime noir, regardless, that would be something.
That's a lot of stories.
That's a lot of stuff, and it's not a whole lot of $25 for 40 stories. So, my next thing's not till 376.
All right, I got on 330. They're doing the Kevin Smith's Secret Stash, the definitive visual history hardcover. A pricey price point at $65, but is a full story of Kevin Smith's just kind of history from Clerks to current. Whatever he's currently doing. I guess probably, I don't know how far, if it goes all the way to Masters of the Universe and that side of things, or if it stays within his universe of creations. But this is a book
working on Clerks 2 or something like that. Isn't that
working on Clerks 3. I think they're filming this.
3. Oh. I haven't seen Clerks 1, so that shows you what I know.
But if you're if you're a fan of Kevin Smith or are someone in your life is a fan, this is a good gift to pick up for Christmas is right around the corner. So this is a good Christmas idea. And
if Kevin Smith is writing this, you might get it for Christmas of 2022. He sometimes is a little slow.
Absolutely. I think from what I know, he finishes things up before they start them nowadays.
That would probably be for everybody's best. So.
Yes. And then on 354, they're doing on Disney animated classics, The Nightmare Before Christmas hardcover. I thought this was an interesting take on Nightmare Before Christmas. They're not using the artwork from the movie. they've got a bunch of different artists that are lending their interpretations of the characters to kind of it's marketed as an illustrated prose. But if you're interested in that story, would like a book of the story of Nightmare Before Christmas on your shelf, this might be a nice looking one, and would have some decent interpretations. I'd be curious to see how people do with those characters.
I'm gonna jump in. A couple of things that jumped out at me as I'm flipping through. Back on page 339. Okay, I like cyberpunk. At least I like the idea of cyberpunk. So anytime I see cyberpunk, it makes me think that this might be something I want to check out. So they have from Magnetic, Small World, which they bill as a cyberpunk Peter Pan. So it looks like it's just a one shot, $30. It's 8.5 by 11, so it's magazine size. It is a hardcover. And it says it's the only full-length graphic novel by mangaka Toru Terada. So if that means something to you,
that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, then this might be something for you to pick up. I am going to think about it because of the cyberpunk angle on that, and I need to type myself a note here so I don't forget about it whenever I put in my order, if that's what I actually want to order or not.
I wish there were more preview pages to this, because that was the one thing. This one caught my eye, and I was just wanted to see a little bit more of what was going on inside it.
Visually, yeah. And then on 357, this is the absurd thing for this catalog. You have Campaigns and Companions, the complete role-playing guide for pets. What if your pets could play Dungeons and Dragons, and what if they were kind of jerks about it? If there are two things that all geeks love, it's role-playing games and their pets. So why not fuse the two? It's time to grab your dice, dust off that character sheet, and let your cat or dog or guinea pig or iguana or budgie, I don't know what a budgie is, accompany you on an epic adventure. It'll be great, unless your pets are jerks. What?
Yes.
I don't even understand what this is supposed to be about. But anyway, Campaigns and Companions, the complete role-playing guide for pets from Rebellion 2000 AD, I guess. I guess that's who that's from, because it's right there by, Dark Judges for Judge Dredd. So anyway, that's just absurd. So nice. So the absurdity.
Well, speaking of absurd, on 362, I think I'm going to have to get this one. Mullet Cop #1. And it is by Tom Laterne. But it looks as though near-death experience of a mall cop goes undercover as a manager of an all-you-can-eat buffet. And then he has to, it gets involved with the microwave, takes on crime fighting with the boss and a gang of thugs. It sounds a little bit like Paul Blart Mall Cop, but if he had a mullet as well as the mustache, and maybe not a segue, but it looks dumb enough that I might have to get this one.
Let's see. 384 is, I think, 376 is my next thing.
Okay. On 368, there's a book called Unborn by Source Point Press. And this looked like a little bit like we were going right off of Radiant Black. Is it Radiant Black?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Radiant Black.
It reminded me a lot of that. It says for fans of Aliens and Power Rangers, which makes sense that then we would also go right into Radiant Black. So if you just can't get enough of some guy or multiple guys in suits fighting some crime with aliens, there's also this new book called Unborn #1.
376, we have the second issue of the 2-issue series from Titan, Elric the Dreaming City, and this is just one of those, I know when I'm at conventions, I always have people asking me for Elric stuff. So so for any Elric fans out there, this was only a 2-issue series. I know I mentioned the first issue last month, so don't forget to order the second issue if you ordered the first one, so you can have them all. So.
That's right. On 378, there is if you were into Where's Waldo as a kid, like I was, and then you now like Assassin's Creed, like I kind of do sometimes. There's a book called Where's the Assassin, and it is exactly that. It's Where's Waldo with the Assassin's Creed characters, 13 iconic assassins spanning over the 2,000 years of history, and
Wow.
you can find them and all that. This would be fun if you had little kids and or if you just wanted to find the assassin.
Yeah. 384. Since Atchison is not on this episode with us, he would certainly plug something from Tomorrow's Publishing.
That's right.
So I'm just gonna choose their featured item, our Artists at War, the best of the American War comics soft cover. So this is they basically go through and talk about a lot of the war comics from EC to DC. Warren, Charlton, Marvel didn't have a whole lot of war comics. They weren't kind of as big into it, or they were kind of post, the war comics. So they're not even really mentioned here. But I'm sure you'll see a lot of Joe Kubert art in that because he did a lot of DC war comics. So if they don't talk about him in quite a bit, then they're missing out. And Tomorrow's does too good of a job to make a mistake like that. So. My next thing's on 449. I'm done with the comics.
Okay. I got just a couple more on there. 394 from Vault. Vault is quickly becoming one of my favorite little publishers. They put out a random book every once in a while that I get into. They've got a book called Human Remains that is coming out. With Peter Milligan writing, and I was like, oh, I know that name. And it looks as though similar to one of the previous books that I had talked about, the what was it, Maw, where there's just kind of a bright kind of flowers and then some gore or something spooky. This variant cover speaks to that. And it looks as though we've got two main characters who are falling in love in a world that love is dangerous, it says. And it looks like everything is probably out to get them, or the Earth is invaded by monsters, and they have to survive while being in love, it looks like.
Yeah, kind of sometimes when you get to the back of the book, there are publishers you just kind of flip past. And I try to stop and pay a little bit more attention whenever I get to the Vault section. They don't always have something that jumps out at me, but
yeah.
But I thought about mentioning the Autumnal.
Yes, absolutely.
Page, 396.
That's one of those books that I didn't catch until it was into issue 4, I think, and I saw a cover and I was like, "What is this? I need this now." But I couldn't get a hold of the first issue, so I was like, "Well, I'll wait for the trade." And like you said, here that is.
Yeah, and I think I bought, like, on the next page, they got a couple of books there. I know I have The Devil's Red Bride, the first issue of that. I haven't read it yet. And I got suckered in on Hollow Heart by the ROM homage cover.
Uh-huh.
The artwork on that book is not very good. So, yeah, I didn't even read it just because the art just didn't appeal to me. So it's like, I'm moving on.
Yes.
You fooled me. You got my money.
You got me this time, yes.
Yeah, not going to get me again. So.
And then I think my last on the book side is on 401. There's a book called Hello, My Name is Poop, and it's kind of a cool I think take on the idea that there's this kid and he's bullied and they call this kid Poop because his last name's Poupée. And so he learns that names have certain powers, and so it turns out that his name has a power to it, and so he embraces the fact that they call him Poop, and he has these magical powers that come along with it. I thought it was a very weird take, and while we're in the business of talking about weird books this month, I figured it's a perfect one.
There you go. Yeah, all right. Might as well. Let's see. Yeah. You got anything else comic wise?
Nope.
I'm in apparel. Page 449. Just if you're, need a T-shirt to wear for the Black Adam premiere, they've got some Black Adam and Captain Marvel / Shazam shirts. These are probably offered again. They probably were already available for sale previously. And then I know this is an offered again on page 450. They have those Patrick Gleason, the web head design where it's like Spider-Man made out of webs. They got a Venom made out of the symbiote. They got a Carnage kind of made out of the red symbiote. Some of those were really popular just for the covers.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a shirt, I think I had, like I said, I know I already have an order in for the black one. So these were probably these were solicited earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
But they can still be ordered. So yeah, if you're really a big fan of those Patrick Gleason covers, you can get it on a shirt. Got anything on the flip side, or do you have anything else on side one?
Nope.
Okay.
I got a couple of things on the flip side. Just a couple though.
My first one's on 41. Yeah, I only got two.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on 42. Go ahead.
Okay, so page 41, if I can get there. What was it? I don't remember. There's lots of Universal Monster stuff.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, and we're probably going to talk about the same thing on 42.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got some Universal Monsters paper people, some Keshi surprise figures, and then on 42 they've got some reproduction masks. Was that what you were going to talk about?
I was going to talk about the buckets actually.
Okay, well I'll talk about the masks.
Yeah.
So these have already been solicited. But they have Universal Monsters retro monster masks. They got Frankenstein. They have two different brides. They got the creature. They got a couple of different Wolfmans. And I know Mike has already ordered several of these because they have already been solicited once. So he will have some of these in the shop probably pretty soon. So
Nice.
Anyway, yeah. If you don't know this, Mike Noe is a huge Universal Monsters fan. That is his thing. So
absolutely. And
so
ahead. if you want to trick or treat Mike Noe on Halloween, you're definitely going to want to show up with the Universal Monster Super Buckets. They've got the Mummy and the Wolfman buckets for your trick or treating just in time, since this is your September book. So.
And then 89. You got anything for 89?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, so continuing with the whole Universal Monsters theme, on page 89, they have a creature from the Black Lagoon beach towel. So I just thought that was appropriate. So
a lot of beach towels for the order that comes out at the end of summer.
Yeah, that's that's kind of odd. So yeah, but anyway, you can get one.
That's right.
$19.99.
That's right. I got 102.
Okay.
On 102, not as much the product, the individual ones, but the thing itself. I just wanted to mention there's a lot of left, right, center dice games here. We've got a Jurassic Park, we've got a Seinfeld, we've got a Friends, we've got Elf, we've got Batman, we've got Rick and Morty. If you've never played left, right, center, it is a wonderful dice game. It's super simple. You've got a bunch of coins, chips, poker chips, or you can play with quarters, dollars, whatever you want to play with. And you just roll the 3 dice and you give one to the left. You know, if you roll 3 L's, you pass them all to the left. If you roll a left, a right, and a center, you give one to the center, which is kind of your pot for whoever wins at the end of the game. And then one to the left, one to the right. You don't have to have a high education to play this game, and it's super fun. And you could play for money if you like that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything else? I'm done. That's all I've got.
Up
catalogs.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. So, well, let's see. We're gonna be light on picks this month since it's just the two of us. But what are you particularly looking forward to out of this?
Oh gosh, I want to say that my looking forward to and my investment book are the same, but I can't do that. I gotta have more than one.
No, that's what you're looking forward to. That's fine. So.
I'm definitely looking forward to May's book. I think that's the Dark Horse Jeff Lemire book. Him as his own creative team. When it's just him is one of my favorite books to read across the board. Anything he's done. So that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. And definitely my investment pick. But I'd say if I were to pick something else that I'm looking forward to is to get the autumnal. Oh,
yeah, that's how I would say it. Yeah.
The trade for that and finally get into diving into reading that one since I haven't gotten to yet because it looks real interesting.
Well, surprisingly for me, the things that I'm looking forward to and my investment pick are both coming from DC.
Oh.
So I am looking forward to the wrap up of Strange Adventures and Rorschach. I, like I said, I've read over the first half of Strange Adventures, so I'm anxious because I want to see how. I don't know if I'm excited, anxious to read the end of Strange Adventures, so I'm gonna be dreading reading the end of Strange Adventures. I guess to see how he wraps things up because of that turn that happened in whatever it was, issue 6 or 7.
Okay.
And then Rorschach, like I just been kind of holding out on that one just to read it all at once. I was fearing another Doomsday Clock, so I didn't want to be, waiting 5 or 6 months between issues. So I just wanted to sit down and read it all at once. So I'm kind of looking forward to those.
Was that pretty regular coming out though? Was Rorschach pretty regular?
Been pretty good. It was every other month to start with. But
of
course,
I see.
So was Doomsday Clock too, and it missed like 5 or 6 months.
Yeah,
so. Yeah, but it was closer to being kind of. I think it and Strange Adventures started about the same time, so they're wrapping up basically the same time. So
yeah,
so
cool.
And then I guess if I had an investment pick, it's going to be Black Manta.
Okay.
I mean, I'll probably pick up an extra-ish copy or two just in case. I can't imagine this new hero and villain meaning anything. I think your pick of May's book is probably better, or and I think we both before we started recording talked about Primordial, which is the other Jeff Lemire book. I think as good as Sweet Tooth is, that it's something of his is also going to get picked up again. He's going to be taken real serious for adaptions for stuff moving forward. So it looks like both of those probably, because they're both probably going to be, ideally suited for a 6 to 8 episode series, and maybe even a little bit shorter, and they may just be complete stories, one and dones. And then I guess I really should have said this was the book I'm most looking forward to, but I was so distracted about being right that I forgot it was in this catalog is the last issue of Die. Not that I'm looking forward to that. Not that I'm looking forward to that series wrapping up, but I am looking forward to seeing how this all gets brought together. So.
Yeah.
So there are a few things, I guess, in this catalog.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, Chad. Well, if people wanted to track you down, where would they do that?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Shaad Schubert. That's ShaadSchubert. And it sounds like I'll be hanging out at the Comic-Con, the Muddy Monster Minicon. So if you want to come by and say, hey, I'll be playing some tunes for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit before and a little bit after maybe the Q&A with Jason Font. So then I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at burgcomics.com, BURG comics.com. And I've got a lot of conventions coming up. Muddy Monster, July 24th. Discovered today, I am going to be setting up at Superman Celebration.
Oh, nice.
I'll have details on my Facebook page. And if you go to eventually, probably sometime next week, I'll have information about that up on the site, supercon.us. And then, gosh, lots of conventions moving forward. I got RaptorCon in Evansville, like August 22nd. I've got my convention in Harrisburg, September 4th. I got Cape Comic Con, October 1st and 2nd. And then SalukiCon next year. So I even got conventions scheduled into next year. Yeah. So back into the swing of things with conventions. I do want to mention, unfortunately, I can't make this convention. It's generally a really, really good convention. It's the Mid-South Con, which is in it's Jackson, Tennessee. It's either Union City, Tennessee, or Jackson, Tennessee. I'm sorry. I thought I should mention this just right here. Alvin Minnick throws on a pretty good convention. He's got a lot of great books whenever he has a wall set up. So I know some people who come into Muddy Monster know Alvin. So he's holding a convention August 7th. I think I might have said the 6th, but it's August 7th there in Union City, Tennessee. So, all right, that's going to do it for another episode of the Campus Comic Cast, and we'll talk to you next time.
So I put on the Muddy Monster Minicon event page that like around 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I saw that.
Playing. Okay,
that
that like a good. All right.
Yeah,
and I don't know. The picture I chose may have been terrible. It was just like
I thought it was awesome.
Okay, all right. thought, well, since it's just gonna be you, I shouldn't put a band
Right.
picture up there. So,
No,
so
yeah.
so yeah, if you want me to change the picture, just
No,
say
no,
so.
no.
I'll change the picture.
That's fine. No, I like that one. It's funny.
Okay, fine. Okay, good deal. All right, so.
I don't take myself too seriously.